we can see that in these many years, they haven't, touched Russia because they were so powerful and so intelligent to be out of their booby traps. Because from the September 1814 to June 1815, the Congress of Vienna was held in order to settle the arising issues from the Revolutionary Front Wars, the Napoleon Wars, and the dissolution of the Holy Empire of Rome. And behind these scenes, Nathan Mayer Rothschilds proposed the Nathan Mayer Rothschild proposed the formation of a new world order concentrated around the central banking system, and where all the major powers, with the exception of Russia, were indebted to Rothschild's bank. But Tsar, but Tsar, but Tsar Alexander of America refused to comply with Rothschild's scheme and derailed it. Instead of establishing the holy connection between Austria, Prussia, and Russia, which was signed in 26 September 1815 by the Emperor Francis I of Austria, Prussia, and Russia, King Friedrich Wilhelm III of Prussia, and Tsar Alexander himself. He also rejected the Rothschilds' offer to set up a central bank in Russia. The reason of rejection was really known. The reason of rejection was not really known, but he said that it was wise to reject that. And on 2nd June 1860, the State Bank of the Russian Empire was founded with the aim of boosting the trade turnovers and strengthening of the monetary system, and up to 1894, it was the auxiliary institution under the direct control of the Ministry of Finance. And in the same year, it was transformed into being the banker of the bankers and operated as an instrument of government policy. And it minted and printed the nation's coins and banknotes, which regulated their money supply, and through commercial banks they provided the industry and commerce with low interest rates, and it was vast the gold reserves, which was probably the largest in the world, and exceeded the banknotes issued by more than 100%, which clearly means that it was out of its debt completely and was still having reserves to move the country. And on 1914, it had become the most influential lending institution in Europe. And with the Russian state banking creating the people's money out of nothing at almost 0% interest, was opposed by the rest of the world, where central banks were allowed for parasitic private banks to create their own nation's money supply at a usurious rate of interest. It comes as no surprise to find that in 1912, Russia had the lowest level of taxation, also to attest the efficiency of Russian government, and Russia have proved that the state banking system cannot create inflation or unemployment when managed right. So as they as they are not telling why the reason, we can assume that Russia were mostly some powerful country, maybe with weapons or the ideas, some sort of things, because Rothschild haven't touched Russia in these years. Maybe even by offering them some things, they were like, yeah, you can do this, you can also provide us this too, in just in a linear manner. There is something to be feared about Russia, but we are lucky enough to not to be feared, because Russia is a good country and doesn't rule over the world until someone or something is trying to rule over them. Stay on.